Unarmed students clashed with armed police in riot gear, in some instances on horseback, as protest fire spread across prestigious universities, including some Ivy League institutions across the United States. There were protests from New York to Los Angeles. Hundreds of students have either been detained, arrested, or removed from campus. The students are demanding, in some instances, cutting off ties with Israel, divest funding from companies that fuel Israel's war on Hamas. But some of the slogans have been very alarming. We bring you more in this ground report from coast to coast. Massive crackdown on campus from coast to coast in the United States of America. In riot gear, wearing helmets, police forces swooped down on the University of Southern California and detained students who were protesting against Israel's war on Hamas. Armed police urged students to return to classes, failing which some protesters and protest leaders were taken into custody. Texas state troopers were deployed at the University of Texas, Austin. At the prestigious Harvard University, pro-Palestine protesters began an encampment at the Harvard Yard to protest the suspension of the Palestine Solidarity Committee. The protesting scholars demanded the university stop taking funds from entities involved in Israel's war in Gaza.
I and many other Jewish students on this campus do believe that it is our duty to step up because of our Jewish values, because we are a people who's been in diaspora for so long, because we know what it feels like to be put into shtetls. We know what it feels like to be the victims of a genocide. And we believe that when we say never again, it means never again for anyone. And when we see this happening, even if it is people who are also Jews perpetrating it, especially because it is also Jews perpetrating it, it is our job to step in and make things right.
Several protesters set up tents in the Harvard Yard. The university has restricted access to the yard only to Harvard University ID holders. The administration has also warned of disciplinary action.
I am incredibly moved by your courage and bravery as a student body in putting your bodies on the line to stand in solidarity to end the genocide that is taking place in Gaza at this moment. I have to tell you, it's been incredibly painful for the last 5 days to see the discovery, while there is a discovery of a mass grave of more than 200 Palestinians in Khan Yunis, that our media, our elected politicians, our president, every single leader is spending their time and energy in talking about the protests as if you all are not here to give voice to the genocide that is taking place in Gaza.
At the Columbia University campus, students set up tents in one of the university lawns and called it the Gaza Solidarity Encampment. There is considerable alarm over the kind of sloganeering on campus.
Students across the country, with the people of conscience around the world, with our sisters and brothers in Gaza, with our sisters and brothers of oppressed people across the world.
At Yale, police arrested more than 60 protesters. A group of students began a hunger strike to pressure the Ivy League school to divest from companies that were a part of Israel's war efforts in Gaza. The Yale administration has been in the line of student fire for alleged complicity in Gaza genocide, for continuing to take funds from Jewish companies. US President Joe Biden and the White House ducked the question on protests and police action.
The president believes that free speech, debate, and non-discrimination on college campuses are important. They're important American values, and so he'll always be very clear. We will always be very clear about that here. Students should feel safe. Communities should feel safe, and we can't stay silent.
There are reports of several protest tents coming up on college campus across the United States. Brown University students also demanded that the administration distances itself from entities funding Israel's war in Gaza. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hit out at the kiosk on US campus and demanded that the US administration do more to keep Jewish students and faculty safe on campus.
What's happening on America's college campuses is horrific. Anti-Semitic mobs have taken over leading universities. They call for the annihilation of Israel. They attack Jewish students. They attack Jewish faculty. This is reminiscent of what happened in German universities in the 1930s. It's unconscionable. It has to be stopped. It has to be condemned, and condemned unequivocally. But that's not what happened. The response of several university presidents was shameful. Now, fortunately, state, local, federal officials, many of them have responded differently, but there has to be more. More has to be done.
As police crackdown intensifies, students remain defiant, even as some prestigious universities like Columbia have now decided to move their classes online. But the protesters are only threatening to intensify their presence on the streets. Bureau Report, India Today.